Matches Balone.
Hey, what is up guys? Matches Balone here, bringing you guys another DC Toy Box TV review. Today we're going to be looking at the DC Collectibles, DC Comics Icons, Superman. Okay guys, I'm super excited for this review. Now, before we get into actual figure review, I do want to go over the packaging. So, as you can see, this is an open window box where we do get to see a glimpse of the Superman figure inside with all of his accessories. Across here we get DC Comics. On the bottom we get icons with the O doubling for the character's logo. Right here in the corner we get a DC Collectibles logo. On the side we get this really cool stylized 10. Superman is the 10th figure in the overall DC Comics Icons toy line, and he is the first figure of Wave 3. We get that really cool Superman logo right there. DC Comics Icons, Superman, Man of Steel, DC Collectibles. Man of Steel is the story where this Superman design is based off. Across the back we do get some images of the rest of the figures inside of Wave 3. DC Comics, we get all of the figures right here across. Again, these are Wave 3 figures. We get the Icons logo, with again that Superman logo inside of the O. We get a designer and a sculptor. And we get that DC Comics logo right there in the corner. On the other side, this is just pretty much continuing with that open window design. And right here in the corner, we do get a stylized 10 with Superman written across the packaging right there. Up top, all we get is that sweet Superman logo. And then on the bottom, we just pretty much get some manufacturing details. But yeah, so that is pretty much it guys for the packaging. We're going to get him out of his box and we're going to check him out. Okay guys, here we have Superman out of his packaging. Now, I gotta say, I'm super excited to be filming this. I haven't filled a DC Comics icon in a long time, so I'm so glad that I finally have Wave 3. And I gotta say, Superman is an awesome way to start. So, as you can see, you get the Superman figure, you get a additional Calyx figure, as well as his stand, and you get 2 accessory hands. So, before we get into Superman, let's just talk about Calyx for a bit. So this is really cool. For those of you guys who don't know, this is pretty much a kind of service robot in Krypton. And he's in the Fortress of Solitude, and he helps kind of like the servant to Superman. Almost think of a robotic Alfred, if you will. So this is, you know, I would consider this almost an additional figure, because this is, you know, the entire robot. He does have some articulation, so you could lift up his hands, if those are what it's called. You can lift up his hands right here on the shoulder. He doesn't have a joint right there or there, so don't try to bend that. And you could also swivel his robot head. I'm gonna try to keep that in focus for you guys. So that's really cool. Be careful guys, because I did try to rotate this, and because the plastic does get a lot smaller, you know, you might end up twisting it too hard and bending it. So those are the only articulation points I have found. If you guys know more, please comment down below. With the figure, you also get this cool stand, so that's really awesome, you know, to have them elevated like that. It's really cool. Definitely like that. And he looks really cool. He is all in this kind of matte gold. So that's really awesome. And then I like that his visor right here, or the, you know, his component right here, is more of a translucent plastic. So it's really glossy. It's really bright. So I really like that. It's, you know, it's a nice contrast. Of course, you could already see a lot of these kind of molded lines to kind of give this guy some more detail. So that's really cool. Overall, he looks, you know, just awesome. Like, you know, it is a really nice addition. You know, there's not a lot of accessories you can give Superman. I would have loved it if we could have got this and maybe, you know, the bottle of Candor. That would have been pretty sweet to kind of like start building off your own little Fortress of Solitude. But, you know, Calyx is definitely, you know, an awesome addition. So that's really cool. Like I said, guys, we're gonna put this guy for a little bit. Like I said, guys, he does have accessory hands. They are open hands. They're open hands with some curved fingers, almost like if he's writing on a keyboard or he's holding onto something. I would have loved these to be completely flat hands, so that we could kind of have some, some flight poses with Superman. But it's not that big of a deal. I'm not exactly sure why they gave him these hands. He doesn't have any other accessory to hold on to, but maybe, just for some play between your figures down the line. The way you switch out the hands is really simple. You're just going to pull on your old one, and then, just push in the new one. You're going to hear a little bit of click and notches, and that's when you know it is securely in its, in your figure. So that's really cool. For the rest of the figure review, I will just keep the standard closed-fisted hands, just just to go over what this guy is capable of. So let me put this off to the side. Don't want to lose those fingers, right? Figures. So yeah, so Superman is definitely really cool. Me taking him out of his box and kind of playing with him a little bit, I already noticed that they've made a ton of improvements with the DC comic icons themselves. I think the molding has been done a lot better because the joints are a lot looser within this figure. If you guys go back and see my Wave 1 and Wave 2 figure reviews, you guys will notice the figures are extremely stiff. They're stiff to the point that even in Wave 1, I did not know that they had a torso swivel, and that's just how tightly those joints were. Superman seems to have some more loose joints, so we're gonna go over that right now. First with his head, he does have a swivel right here on his head, so you can rotate it all the way around, so that's really good. This is as far up as you can see, so it's not a lot, but I think it is, somewhat serviceable. If you're putting him to flight, he could at least be looking down. So that's a little bit above him, but still pretty good. And he does go this far down, which, I think you don't need to go any further down. So that's pretty awesome. He does have shoulder articulation. Now, right there, you can see that is fairly stiff. That is how the other DC Comics icons were in the original Waves 1 and 2. So there is still some stiffness, but I think overall they've done a better job at kind of making it a lot easier for you to just out of the box kind of, rotate and pose them as you will. As you can see, there is a rotation on the shoulder itself, so you can rotate it all the way around if you choose to. He has right there in his bicep, you can swivel it as well. He has double elbow joints, so that's really awesome right there. You can see it. Then in his hand, like I said, you could pull it and put a different one, but he does have a swivel in his hand as well as a bend right there. So that's really cool, just to give you, you could already see this Superman kind of flexing, so that's really awesome. Like I said, he does have a swivel in his torso. This is, again, one of those stiff ones. You can already hear just how tight that is, but with enough force, you are able to rotate him all the way across, so that's really cool. And again, this guy is a lot looser compared to the other ones that his ab crunch actually works this time. You can see there is a bit of a bend right there. Again, Wave 1 and Wave 2, they were super stiff that he would go this far. So I'm really glad that now, they've made them a little bit looser. We don't always want a loose figure, but, at least, give us the ability to move them right. So that's pretty cool. You can already see right there, he does have leg articulation. So you can rotate the legs in and out. You can also move them forward. That's as much forward as he will go. And then you can move him back. Of course, as he goes back, it does go off to the side instead of going forward back. So it's pretty cool. Just like the elbows, his knees are also double jointed. So that is awesome. You always want double jointed elbows and knees because it just makes it more lifelike and just a little more closer to the actual human anatomy. He does not have a swivel on his boot. This is molded right here on his whole calf and leg, so that's alright with me. He does have ankle right here. You can bend the ankle in and out, and then he does have, ankle pivot because you could slightly put the foot to the side. You could, actually rotate it all the way like that if you wanted to. I don't know why he'd have his foot like that, but it is there for you guys to play with. So that's pretty cool. Now, as you can see, the molding is actually pretty awesome. I really like the sculpt that they chose for Superman. I feel like he's very muscular, but not overly buff. So that's really awesome. You can already see the muscle, how he does have a much bigger muscle than some of the previous icons, yet he's not overly huge. So that's really cool. You can also right there, even though I like this because this is the classic Superman suit, right? So this is, I guess, again, just mimicking cloth material. It's just a spandex, but you can still see the molding of his, his six-pack and his abdominals and all that. So that's really cool. You see those muscles right here on his legs. So it's really awesome. I also like the paint application. I am very stiff when it comes to paint. I just want the best and pristine looking figure I could possibly can. So I really like how this Superman is super clean. He does mostly use matte colors, but there are some glossy paint in there to really make certain colors pop. But even if everything was matte, I just like how bright this figure is. This is a very nice and bright blue with a bright red and a bright yellow. So it is super cool. The cape, as you can see, it is a rubber cape. It goes this far apart. Looks really nice. I like that they did put the Superman logo in there. Again, this is the classic Superman. This is the Superman I grew up with. So really awesome for that. Also, what's interesting is kind of up top, it almost seems like they were trying to give it a glossy coat. I don't know if the camera's really going to pick it up, but up top it has more of a glossy coat on it, and then as it goes down, this is more just of a matte rubber. I also like that they did kind of mold in these more rugged cloth, I can't speak, guys, but like there are these like rugged lines and ridges, so it makes it just seem a little more like this is an actual cloth cape, and I really like that instead of just a solid plastic coming down his back. So that's really cool. His Superman logo, again, glossy. He has the matte on his body, but then the Superman logo is really nice and bright and shiny. And also, it's very clear, you don't see any paint mishaps inside of that S, so that looks really sweet, and I like that. The belt is also a matte color, but then when it comes to the belt buckle, it's a very shiny gold, so that's super sweet. Also like that they didn't do paint mishaps when they were painting in those kind of like belt loops on his trunks, so that's cool as well. And of course his boots are also glossy. If you can see the light as they reflects off it, so that's really nice. It's simple but still looks great, so I'm really glad for that. The face, the head sculpt they gave us. I think it looks a little weird. It's definitely Superman. He has the classic S curl, and it definitely looks, like a good-looking guy. But I don't know. It looks a little weird to me, But again, not really any paint mishaps. I think they did a great job at applying the paint for the eyes and the eyebrows. So that looks really good. We do get some soft pink in his lips, to define that is his lips. But overall, he still looks really great. The hair, clearly matte black, so looks awesome. And I also like how they even molded in that hair to kind of like make it seem like he actually did do the comb over. So that looks really cool. Overall, I am super satisfied with this figure. I really don't have any complaints. I'm super glad that they were able to loosen a lot of these joints. There's still some tightness to them all, and I really wish they would have fixed that as well. But like I said, it's better to have it super tight instead of having it super loose, because then your figure is not going to pose for anything. So that's really cool. The only complaint I can really think of is that I'm guessing to kind of fix some of the joints here, they made this a little smaller or just made that gap just a little bigger. So that's a little annoying to me. It just looks a little weird. I kind of find it funny because I think like if they had painted the whole leg blue, would this kind of technically give Superman, a weird underwear? But it's still fine. Like, it's still fine. Like I said, it's better to have the ability to move than, be super cool and be stiff. Because, at that point, why not just buy a statue, right? So, you can see the back. Very nice, no paint mishaps. These guys did an awesome job. DC Collectibles, usually are always, 100% when it comes to their figures. I never really get anything bad from them, so I'm super happy, super glad. And he does a great job of standing up, so that's one of the best things you can do for an action figure. Just for a little bit of a fun comparison, I do have some of my figures from the previous waves. So here we have Batman from Wave 1, and I actually believe Batman was the very first figure of Wave 1 as well. So here we got, the classic World's Finest group. And again, what I really love is that Batman has such dark colors and Superman has such bright colors that it's a really nice yin and yang contrast, the light and the darkness, day and night and all that. So that's really cool. I really liked it. You can also see how the body mold is very different. If you just kind of compare the arms, I feel like this has such a much wider and thicker muscle than Batman. So it does show that Superman does have a different body sculpt. They're not necessarily reusing just the same body types. They are trying to focus in and give a very unique take to the character itself. So I really like that. Looks really cool. So, and just again, a little bit of a fun comparison to show you how Superman is muscular but not overly big. Here we have the Black Adam figure from Wave 2. So I'm gonna try to send this guy right next to him. Sorry guys, it's been a while. I usually keep these posed on my shelf, so I have to straighten them out. You can already see that yes, Superman still looks very muscular. Still, he's the Man of Steel. Obviously, he should be packing a lot of muscle, but he's not overly big like this Black Adam figure. This guy is super jacked. So again, just showing the different type of body molds they've been using. So that's really cool. You can even see that muscle right there. Definitely a lot bigger. And again, just how bright and how nicely Superman is in so much contrast to the Black Adam figure. That is really cool, and I really like it. But yeah, that's pretty much all my thoughts and opinions on it all, guys. I definitely like this figure. I'm super happy to be getting more DC Comics icons. I suggested for all you Superman fans out there, this is probably one of the best figures you can probably pick up of him. So, you guys are doing yourself a disjustice, or an injustice. There we go. An injustice to not pick him up. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Tell me your guys' thoughts and opinions down below. If you guys like these figures, or you guys collecting the DC Comics icons, whatever you guys' thoughts and opinions on, I'd like to hear it. Like the video, you guys like it, dislike if you didn't, and subscribe, and look forward to more videos, guys. Thanks. Laters.